Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the Nike Tiempo Legend 6 in the latest metal flash pack colorway. Now inside the box they do include a string bag to go along with the shoes themselves. The string bag is black in color with black strings. You're going to find orange or total crimson colored branding there on the one side, and an orange Nike swoosh right there on the other. Other than that, all you're going to find inside the box, as you guys can see, are the shoes themselves. So we'll get these guys out of the box really quickly and we'll take a closer look at what is definitely the brightest colorway release of the Legend 6 so far, but also one of the best, if not my personal favorite. Really like how these look. In today's video, we are going to take a closer look at the colorway itself. We're going to talk tech specs, take a look at the weight of the shoe, as well as take a look at how these things fit and feel on feet. So if you are interested in learning more about the new Tiempo Legend 6 in the metal flash pack colorway, please stick around and watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find Buy It Now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $210 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's take a closer look at the colorway. Now there are quite a few different elements of this colorway that I'm a really big fan of. The first aspect is the fact that the majority of the upper is red. Red we just don't see enough in soccer shoes, in my opinion. It's a really good colorway. And on the Legend 6, given that it is a kangaroo leather material, the shade of red they've used just looks absolutely fantastic. The red is technically light crimson, whereas the orange that you see as an accent color is total crimson. I know that's a little bit confusing, but that's how they name their colors, I suppose. But the combination of the orange, which you see on the sole plate, as well as at the heel area, in combination with this kind of darker red color, just looks really good. The two colors accent really nicely with each other, and really the only, I guess, minor complaint I have in regards to the colorway is that when you transition from kangaroo leather to synthetic right here on the heel, the colors don't match perfectly. This is definitely a little bit lighter than what you're going to find from the actual kangaroo leather. Not a big deal, but something worth pointing out. You're also going to find orange accents in the Nike branding on the tongue, the little bit of the pinstripe you have going there on the liner. And then of course you have Tiempo branding in black going across the back of the heel. And I really like the fact that the tongue and laces is black in color. It accents really well and kind of breaks up what would be a very red and orange shoe if it didn't have a little bit of black detailing here across the top. The swoosh itself, kind of common with the rest of the metal flash pack, is metallic silver with a black outline. It's kind of a synthetic material, almost like a plastic. So it does have this really interesting kind of texturing and finish to it. It's not necessarily kind of mirrored, but it definitely has a nice shiny look to it, which again accents really well with the red and orange on the shoe. And overall, I just think this is a really good looking colorway. The Tiempo line, I think, is best suited for kind of more black and more white based colorways, which is what we've seen thus far from the Legend 6. But something brighter like this, red shoes, I'm a sucker for, and I just think that this looks really good. Definitely my personal favorite colorway of the Legend 6 that we've seen so far. But let me know your opinions down below in the comment section. Do you like how these look? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about the overall performance. As far as performance is concerned, the Legend 6 is arguably the most technologically advanced kangaroo leather shoe that we've ever seen. If you regularly watch my content, you know that it is my personal favorite shoe at the moment. So we're gonna go over all the details in this video, but if you do wanna see them in action, I'll leave an annotation on screen to my playtest video that you can go ahead and check out. You can also find more details in my written review, which will be linked in the description of this video as well. So go ahead and check out those extra sources of info if that's something that you're interested in. So with this shoe, what exactly are you getting? It's part of the Tiempo line, and given that it's a Legend model, you would expect it to be made from premium leather, which it is. The leather is basically from this seam here, kind of around the Nike swoosh forward. That's all kangaroo leather flowing through the midfoot, forefoot, toe box area, and then cutting off at this point right here, kind of on an angle, again, around the Nike swoosh. All the part in red is leather, whereas the part here in orange, it obviously transitions to synthetic. So the majority of the upper is leather, which is what you definitely want to see. But as you guys can see, it does have a one-piece construction, which is kind of unusual for this style of shoe. So it's one piece basically up until the top two lace holes where the tongue does actually separate. So this one-piece construction, along with the faint kind of outline of some kind of an internal support cage that you can see from the outside of the shoe, which is actually an internal support cage, makes this the most responsive kangaroo leather soccer shoe that money can buy. But with that said, it doesn't take away from the natural feel that you would want from this style of shoe, which is what makes it so unique. We've seen kind of structure and support elements incorporated with natural kangaroo leather before, but never in a way that feels this natural. When you put this shoe on your foot and tie the laces tight, nothing feels abnormal. There's no extra stiffness, there's no extra reinforcement that you can feel, but as soon as you make those quick cuts and change of direction, you'll definitely notice all the extra structure that's coming from this internal support cage that's made from like a foam type material. I guess that's the best way to describe it. It's very soft, it's very, very flexible, and like I said, you don't feel it when the shoes are on your feet, which is really, really nice. So because the upper is kangaroo leather, you get that nice soft touch on the ball. The quality is fantastic. It is a little bit thinner in comparison to the Tiempo Legend 5, just for comparison's sake, but still is going to provide that nice soft kind of padded feel that you would want from a leather shoe. The tongue is made from a synthetic material, but it has a nice thick memory foam kind of layer running through the middle to match the thickness of the rest of the upper. So with this one-piece construction and this memory foam insert here, you actually get a very uniform kind of consistent touch across the entire foot with no overlapping materials, which is a really, really nice aspect of this one-piece design. The shoe is also finished off with ACC all conditions control, acting as your wet control element. Not really a make or break feature with this particular shoe, but definitely something worth noting. Also, a lot of people tend to ask about the stitching or lack thereof. There's only a little bit of a chevron pattern here running through the forefoot. The reason why there isn't much stitching is just because it isn't required, because all the structure is coming from that internal support cage as opposed to stitching, which is kind of the more traditional way of reinforcing the upper of a soft leather shoe. So laces run through the middle, as you guys can see with this one-piece design. That also does a really good job of keeping the shoe nice and snug on your foot. The laces don't loosen up very easily, which is, again, kind of a unique thing for a leather shoe to have. You do have an internal plastic heel counter. The synthetic material going across the back in orange is slightly more grippy than what you're going to find from the leather that's left pretty much completely natural, no extra grip at all. But again, not something that has a huge impact on performance. You do have a standard cut in the heel, as you guys can see, a smooth synthetic leather liner on the inside with a decent amount of padding. There's some perforations back there, but again, nothing that's super noticeable when it comes to actual performance and just general comfort. Insole, fully removable. It features a synthetic suede liner on top, which I really like. It's made from a layer of this yellow foam that has some decent thickness to it. And then you're also going to find pour-on inserts in the heel as well as in the forefoot area. So as far as underfoot cushioning is concerned, this is one of the more substantial insoles that you're going to find for pretty much any shoe out there at the moment. Moving on to the sole plate and stud pattern, the sole plate is made from a relatively straightforward TPU plastic material. It is on the thinner side, and it is very, very flexible, which I like. It plays to the overall natural feel of the shoe, kind of working with the flexibility of the soft leather upper. The only downside to this thinner sole plate is if you do play on harder ground, the combination of a thin sole plate and relatively long studs can lead to some stud pressure issues. So if you don't play on the nicest fields, probably not the best option for you, but as long as you play on decent quality fields, you shouldn't have any problems at all. Stud pattern, unchanged from the previous Tiempo model, and really unchanged for the entire lifespan of the modern age Tiempo Legend for that matter. They haven't really changed much over the years. You have bladed studs in the heel, conical studs in the forefoot, and despite the shoe looking more traditional as far as the stud pattern layout is concerned, it actually provides some pretty aggressive traction, really good bite. The studs aren't quite as narrow as what you're going to find from the Magista or the Hypervenom line, but like I said, they still perform really, really well. And actually, this is one of my personal favorite stud patterns to use. Very stable, kind of no nonsense, and it just gets the job done. So no major complaints there whatsoever. And again, this is just a really, really good shoe overall. If you're looking for a kangaroo leather shoe that has that kind of classic feel, but at the same time has the more modern fit, has the more modern responsive sensation when you're actually wearing it. This really does have the best of kind of both worlds when it comes to classic and modern leather soccer shoes. In terms of weight, the Legend 6 is definitely lighter than you might expect them to be. So I'm going to weigh this pair for you today in real time using this scale just so you can see exactly what the weight is. Keep in mind this is a brand new pair in a size 9.5 US. We're going to throw them on the scale and you can see that they weigh in at 8.7 ounces, the equivalent of 247 grams. So are they super lightweight? No, but I don't think anybody who's interested in buying this shoe is all that worried about it in the first place. At 8.7 ounces, as long as you're in that 8-ounce range, that's actually pretty light. It's definitely not going to have the same kind of weighted, not necessarily heavy feel, but not necessarily lightweight feel that you might get from a pair of Copa Mundials or something like that. But again, for a soft leather shoe that's very, very comfortable, very natural on your foot, these feel relatively lightweight, and the responsive feel that they have to offer also kind of plays a part in how light these actually do feel when you're wearing them. So again, if you're on the market for a pair of kangaroo leather soccer shoes that really do offer that true traditional playing experience, you're definitely going to get that from the Legend 6, and at the same time, they aren't going to weigh you down. All right, so here is a look at the Legend 6s on feet. On my left foot, I have the stock laces that come with the shoes. And on my right foot, I have a pair of black and red Crackle SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. You find a direct link to that website down below in the description of this video. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, they're very comfortable from right out of the box. Putting them on, it definitely is a tighter fit than you might expect from this style of shoe, but the leather is still very, very soft. And like I said, you don't really feel the internal support frame on this shoe at all. It just feels like a standard traditional leather shoe that happens to have a one-piece enclosure and has a more snug fit from the get-go than a lot of shoes in this particular category. It just has a modern feel overall, I guess is the best way to describe it. Is that a bad or good thing? I would argue it's a very good thing, but again, it really depends on what you're looking for from a leather shoe. If you want something ultra traditional, this isn't necessarily it. But if you do want that more traditional kind of fit and feel and just general shape to the shoe, like I said, this is more streamlined than a lot of more traditionally styled leather shoes out there. As far as width is concerned, while it does have a one-piece enclosure, which does make the shoe fit a little bit more snug out of the box, give it some time to break in and the leather will stretch. The support cage does not necessarily restrict that long term, but it does, like I said, add a lot in terms of the overall responsiveness of this shoe. Is it as responsive as something like a Hypervenom Phantom? No, but it is significantly better than pretty much any other straight up kangaroo leather soccer shoe that I've personally ever worn, which is, like I said, a really, really nice feature. So width-wise, they'll be suitable for most people, but if you have really, really wide feet, maybe it could be a little bit questionable, but like I said, they will fit most people. As far as sizing is concerned, they run about a half size small, just like the previous Tiempo models did, the Legend 5. So instead of wearing my usual size 9 US, I bumped it up to a 9.5, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going a half size up in order to achieve the best possible fit. All right, guys, that's it for my review of the metal flash pack Nike Tiempo Legend 6. If you guys are interested in more info, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find a written review. You'll find detailed images of this exact pair that I took myself, as well as buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $210 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions at all regarding the Legend 6, leave those questions down below in the comment section. I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.